In the headlines, a charge of incitement read to opposition leader Lennox Linton, Roseau Fisheries Complex to resume operations by mid-2020, and after several delays, an end in sight for a $7 million road project in Roseau South. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil. Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, a charge of incitement was read to opposition leader Lennox Linton in court on Thursday.
Mr. Linton and other members of his party were charged with obstruction in connection with the events which followed a UWP meeting in Roseau on February 2017. The opposition was originally due to appear in court in March 2019. They say they were not consulted about the change of date to appear in court on Thursday, 22nd November. They say they have not received a satisfactory explanation for the change of date. In court Thursday, Magistrate Asquith Revere decided to proceed with the more serious matters of obstruction of justice and incitement, adjourning them to the 22nd of January 2019 for committal, while summary matters were adjourned sine die. Committal proceedings are held to determine whether, in the case of more serious criminal offences, there is sufficient evidence to require the defendant to stand trial. Bundles are to be filed by the 11th of December 2018. Also on Thursday, lead prosecutor senior counsel Israel Khan requested a bench warrant for Dr. Thompson Fontaine, who was absent from court. One of the defendants, former Prime Minister Edison James, was not present. Joshua Francis was also absent due to illness.
In related news, attorney Gildon Richards, who represents opposition leader Lennox Linton, Nicholas George and Dr. Thompson Fontaine, told the court on Thursday he wanted evidence to support senior counsel Israel Khan's jurisdiction in court.
Quite a bit of back and forth in court Thursday after the matter, which was set for the morning, had to be pushed back to the afternoon. Defense attorney Gildon Richards wanted clarification of a statement by lead prosecutor senior counsel Israel Khan that he was representing the police and not the government of Dominica. At one point, Mr. Richards asked Magistrate Asquith Revere to recuse himself because he thought the magistrate was being partial to the prosecution. Senior counsel Khan told the court he wanted the matters before the court determined as quickly as possible, while defense attorney Gildon Richards sought more time. Khan told the court that he would be calling over 60 witnesses in this case, and according to him, one of the defendants could be Prime Minister. Khan said the defendant could not go into an election with the matter hanging over his head. That hint of an impending election by the lead prosecutor Khan was one of the issues which opposition leader Lennox Linton latched on to when he spoke to Channel 5 News following proceedings Thursday afternoon.
He's playing games. All this talk about not wanting the charges to be hanging over our heads and so on. He's playing games. He's a hired gun of the political directorate in Dominica. He said this morning in the court that he was working for the police, not for the Dominica Labour Party government. But when the fiat was presented in court to the attorneys, our attorneys finally, it was clear from the fiat that the Director of Public Prosecution gave that there was no connection to the police. which means that the Director of Public Prosecutions was under the direction of somebody else other than the police to issue this fiat to Mr. Khan to come down and prosecute the case. I think we need no clearer evidence that this case is politically directed, and it is for the sole purpose of persecuting members of the United Workers' Party, the leadership more particularly, under the guise of criminal prosecution. And if that does not tell the people of Dominica that we need to take back our democracy, we need to claim freedom, equal rights and justice in this country as our own, as our inheritance from our ancestors, as our constitutional right, then nothing will.
Mr. Linton strongly emphasized that any political interference in the judiciary would be a threat to justice.
Whatever the senior counsel from Trinidad wants, he knows he can get it from this court. That is the political arrangement. First of all, the court says that the matter will be put for 14th of May. He gets up and objects, knowing fully well that the court is going to give him what he wants. And in giving him what he wants, the court refuses to hear our counsel. Similar to what has happened with this bringing forward of the case. We were asked to come back to court on the 28th of March. He writes from Trinidad to the court without any question to us about whether the date that he wants is convenient for us. They give him the date and they summon us to come to court. What has happened today again? He wanted an earlier date. They give him the date. And without any opportunity for our counsel to react or to put his position forward, he is granted the earlier date and life goes on. We have therefore asked for Magistrate Asquith Rivera to recuse himself from the case. We are considering the option of judicial review. We have to see what's available to us in this system and use all the avenues available.
Following the demonstration outside the magistrate's court on Thursday, UWP protesters headed to the police headquarters. They marched up to police headquarters where attorney Henry Shillingford was in custody, demanding his release. Shillingford was arrested at the magistrate's court building Thursday morning. It is not clear on what charge Mr. Shillingford was arrested or whether he made bail on Thursday afternoon. In more top stories, retaining walls and proper drains are the finishing touches for an over $7 million road project for the people of Castle Comfort, Jourdel, Eggleston and Fortney. The Jourdel-Eggleston Road project is one which started earlier this year with the aim of being completed within 6 months. However, several delays have pushed back the project's end date. Government Senator Josiah Benoit, who plays a pivotal role in overseeing this project, says regardless of the delays, significant work has been done on this road.
Now, this project is a very major project based on the scale of work that has to be done in terms of climate resilience measures, in terms of restructuring the road, and also based on the length of the road itself. So it's a very significant undertaking, and the Prime Minister had to mobilize, in excess of several $7 million just to get this project going off the ground. And so right now it's being split into 3 lots. We have 3 local contractors working, 2 on the Jourdel Castle Comfort end and 1 on the Fortney Eggleston end. We have observed most of the road resurfacing to date has taken place on the Jourdel Castle Comfort end. Each of the lots was supposed to be completed within several months, six or so months. However, we have experienced some delays. Particularly, a first delay was caused by the fact that concrete trucks had great difficulty going up to the communities of Eggleston and Jourdel. That has been a delay. I think the project somewhat running over the time frame as previously planned, but the quality of the project, that most importantly, fundamentally, will not be compromised.
The Kings Hill Main Road, which leads to Mont Bruce, was due to receive attention this year. Benoit explains the reason renovation works have not yet started on this road.
At this time, we haven't seen any start to the Mont Bruce Road as yet. Attention was shifted to the community of Wallhouse. As we know, Roseau South has many communities, and it may be due to the weather pattern that we've had for the past several months. The road in Wallhouse, the main road in Wallhouse, deteriorated at an accelerated rate, And so the government sought to place attention on that road, prior to addressing the Kingsdale roads as was originally intended. So we saw the significant investment of some $700,000, in excess of $700,000 in the community of Wallhouse to make sure that they have a nice resurfaced road. People of Kingsdale, I just want to give them the assurance that the ministry is committed to doing significant works in terms of road resurfacing in Kingsdale. We just haven't started as yet, but once we do, it will be significant.
Phase 2 of yet another road project in the Roseau South constituency is due to get underway soon, as Phase 1 has successfully been completed.
We're very pleased to see that at this present moment we have completed the first phase of the Emsall Road Resurfacing project, and so residents of Emsall now have very smooth access all the way from the Botanical Gardens into the community of Emsall proper. We have also completed estimates for the remaining roads within the Emsall area. We have several secondary roads as well as to complete the main road in that area. So we're working feverishly to lobby for the resources necessary to continue this project.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red jeans, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are,
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
there's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Welcome back. A mid-2020 deadline is being looked at for the resumption of full operations of the Roseau Fisheries Complex. The building, a gift from the government of Japan, was rendered unusable due to the damage sustained from Hurricane Maria. Acting Senior Fisheries Officer Julian Defoe explained that while several aspects of the fisheries sector were affected, things bounced back quickly after the hurricane.
We had significant loss in areas like Roseau and Scott's Head and Soufriere. So the entire production base was not affected. So, I mean, pretty soon after we had some level of production coming from Portsmouth and Margot, taking into consideration that we had significant problems with the support services, most importantly, which is the ice. So we had, in a few weeks after Maria, lost all our ice production capacity. However, within a few weeks, we were able to have Margot restarted. The equipment was not damaged, so it was just an issue of getting back electricity and water. And also Portsmouth, where you had some minor damage to the equipment, but they were able to be repaired by our local technicians.
The Roseau Fisheries Complex was the largest supplier of ice in the country, accounting for 60 to 70% of ice production. Defoe says measures have been put in place to alleviate the strain of supplying ice to store fish.
Government is still providing additional support services. So smaller ice making units are being made available to take care of the shortfall in Roseau. They will never be able to replace the type of service that we had in Roseau, but at least they will ease the pressure on fishers. So smaller ice making units are now in Stowe, in Scott's Head. We have places like Ansdimay, so these are just to complement while we focus on the rehabilitation of the Roseau Fisheries Complex. Okay, that will be able to function back, we hope, in the next year and a half to its full capacity with assistance from the Japanese government.
The acting senior fisheries officer is assuring fisher folk that all is being done to restore full operations of the Roseau Fisheries Complex in the most practically possible time.
There is an ongoing commitment from the Japanese government to rehabilitate the Roseau Fisheries Complex, and the process has already begun. As we speak, we had a mission and they were here for an entire month. They came from the 15th of October and left on the 15th of November. A consultant mission they were doing the comprehensive assessment of the facility in terms of, to come up with cost calculations and so on. So this is also, they were sent and paid for by the government of Japan. So the process has started. As of course, because different countries have different mechanisms of how they work. Especially under the Japanese grant system, can be a bit lengthy and tedious, but the system is what it is.
And while the People's Republic of China's ambassador to Dominica has described the Newtown Primary School as a climate-resilient structure, the population at the school is playing its part in ensuring the surroundings are also climate-resilient. The new Newtown Primary School, which was officially opened in September 2016, withstood the effects of last year's Hurricane Maria. Though the building was not damaged, the school grounds were affected by the storm. The school since then has been on a drive to make its surroundings more climate resilient to withstand the effects of adverse weather systems. One of the ways in which the institution has sought to do this was through using creative retaining walls to prevent land slippage.
Tire wall, when you have the tire wall, it's more firm instead of just putting galvanized stem to, when you put your tire wall, you can put flowers in it and make steps to them, all different design. And all the rain we get there, nothing happened to it. Because it by layers, by steps.
So for those who do not know, they're just seeing this, explain to them how...
When you put in it, you put it up like blocks. Tight, and you don't just put it up straight, you put it as a slope so it can hold the weight at the back.
The school also embarked on a plant nursery program to help with the beautification of its environment and the wider Newtown community.
We need to beautify back our country, because when I was growing up, that was one of our main things we had in Dominica. Committee used to have competition, planting flowers, cleaning. Now we just depending on the government, must do it. We used to plant flowers. Everywhere you used to go on a Saturday, Sunday to meet people planting flowers, planting hedges, planting trees. All what we do, we cut down and we do plant. And I think now, if we do start back planting all our trees and our flowers, when rain falls, it's going to wash out the soil.
The children involved in the school's 4-H club are the ones who make this possible. 4-H local leader at the Newtown Primary School, Jessiana Phillip, says it is important to teach children about protecting the environment from an early age.
We have about 30 students. It keeps going up every day. We meet here every Friday. We have a meeting, so we come to the garden, we put down seedlings, we plant flowers, we have our chants. Most people ask what the 4-H means in 4-H. So you have your hands, your head, your health, and your heart. To me, it's important to the students because it actually gives them a responsibility per se, because we normally make each student plant a flower or a seedling, and they would actually take the responsibility to water it every morning.
To end the news, the headlines again. A charge of incitement read to opposition leader Lennox Linton. Roseau Fisheries Complex to resume operations by mid-2020. And after several delays, an end in sight for a $7 million road project in Roseau South. Feel free to contact us at news.marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.